Talking about a revolution sounds. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution, it sounds like a whisper. While they're standing in the welfare lines, crying the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution sounds. Who are people gonna rise up and get their share? Who are people gonna rise up? Take what's there. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, I said you better run, 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 run. Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Cause finally the tables are starting.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, the 26th day of November. The year is 2014, and if you can hear the sound of my voice, you are the revolution. I am Smokin Joe Mekhael, and this is the revolutionary nightly news, smashing through the lies of the New World Order, smashing through the lies of the Illuminati, smashing through the lies of the government. The government, the network of governments all over the world that are day by day consolidating their control over us, consolidating their power, escalating their violence against us. This is happening all over the world. Lots of things to talk about today. Let's get right into it. From the antimedia.org, study, cops kill more people than gangbangers or drug dealers. More details emerge. A study of homicides in Utah has revealed a startling fact. Cops kill more people than drug dealers or gang members or child abuse. From 2010 through October of this year, cops in Utah have killed 45 people. Out of every demographic study, the thing more likely to result in a homicide is domestic violence. It will come as no surprise to readers that all but one of the shootings was deemed justified after the police investigated themselves. What happened to the case that was deemed unjustified? And it goes on. People think this is only happening in the United States. This is happening right here at home in Australia. From abc.net.au, Gold Coast police shooting. Man shot dead by Southport officers. A man has been shot dead by police on the Gold Coast. The second fatal police shooting in Queensland in as many days. Police said the man, believed to be in his 30s, was armed with a knife and lunged at officers. Sure, he did. He suffered a cardiac arrest, and despite efforts by paramedics to save him, he died at the scene. The shooting followed a disturbance in Nakina Street at Southport. And from BrisbaneTimes.com.au, see, this is the slave training that they are putting you through every single day, that they're putting me through every single day, that they're putting all of humanity through every single day. Since 9/11, it's been escalating. They want everyone to be so scared of fear itself, of terrorism, of crime. They want everyone to bend over and do exactly what they say, to take their violence and to act like a slave. This is what they want you to do. From BrisbaneTimes.com.au, Queenslanders urged to comply with nervous police in wake of Endeavour Hills shooting. Queenslanders are being warned to comply quickly and fully with police orders as officers, unnerved by a stabbing attack in Melbourne, work to protect the community. Police Commissioner Ian Stewart says the state's police will be nervous after a terrorism suspect stabbed 2 officers before he was shot dead outside a Melbourne police station on Tuesday night. Mr. Stewart says Queenslanders must understand the difficult environment police are operating in amid the high terror threat level in Australia. I need the public to understand our police will be obviously nervous, particularly after the incident last night. Our police are going to be noticeably alert, and they are going to be requesting people to be very compliant in their dealings with them. You think I'm going to be compliant with you? I'm not going to be compliant with your criminal system. You can know where you can stick it, right? You guys are the criminals. You guys are the ones committing violence. And gradually, progressively, piece by piece, you are getting people used to a police state environment where they want to be freaking out over these military cops that are all over the streets. I'm not a slave. I'm not your property, right? I'm a free man. And I'm not going to bend over. I'm not going to comply with your criminal directions. And he goes on. So a lower tolerance to policing is something that, I'm sorry, the public needs to understand. We're in that state right now. He said Queenslanders could expect police to carry out more pat-down searches, and officers would be exercising a high degree of caution as they went about their jobs. I've asked my people to be hyper-vigilant, to be hyper-terroristic, to be hyper-evil, hyper-violent, hyper-tyrannical. That's what they're doing. Please understand, when I come out here and I record the news every day, I make mistakes. Nothing that I put out there, my analysis is my analysis alone. But the information that I put out there is in the public record. If I'm wrong, I urge you to look it up, research for yourself, and tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me how we can move forward to get to freedom. Because that's what I want. I'm a man who makes mistakes, like I said. But I'm doing my best. I'm here in the arena fighting. And I'm fighting because people are going to be crushed under this tyrannical system if we don't all stand up and fight. I got a message from someone yesterday in solidarity, said, "Hey man, thanks for posting about all this stuff in your revolutionary nightly news. I was severely beaten up by cops a few years ago for no reason. Went to court, I had a very expensive lawyer, they ended up charging me with assault, etc." That's how it goes, you know what I mean? And some of those people may not be too eager to speak out because, as he said to me, once you speak out and target the police, you make yourself a target. I've said this before, I'm a target. I'm a target for all you criminals, for all you tyrants out there, right? You want me? Come and get me. I have the power of good on my side, of truth, of freedom, of love. And your intimidation and your continued erosion of people's liberties, your increased tyranny, it's not going to fly, right? More people are having the courage to wake up. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm painting the target on my chest, so people can discuss this more freely, so it's out there. So there's more of this discussion about the most important thing in the world, which is our freedom, which is everyone's freedom. From TheGuardian.com, almost half of people shot dead by Australian police were mentally ill. And it goes on to say Adam Salter was shot at his Lakemba home in Sydney after police had responded to a call saying he was trying to stab himself. So he was trying to stab himself, but the police went and killed him. Sure, that makes sense. And these people are criminals. And when I say the police are criminals, their very job is oppressive. It's tyrannical. It's taking away their freedoms. That is what's criminal. But there are also so many cases of them committing even worse, more heinous, disgusting crimes. And these are the people that we're paying for through our tax dollars. South Australian police officer charged with underage sex offences faces up to 10 years in jail. A South Australian police officer who works in one of the most sensitive areas of Southport has been charged with having repeated sex with an underage girl. And this continues. The reason why I'm an anarchist, the reason why I don't support any government, any authority figure, is because when you give people power over other people, then psychopaths are going to gravitate towards those jobs. People who enjoy hurting people, people who enjoy defiling the innocent, people who enjoy beating people up in handcuffs, right? Those kind of people are going to be the ones who get government jobs. I want people to take care of themselves. I don't want any nanny state pretending to take care of me while they're putting the rubber gloves on, preparing to give me a rectal examination. I don't want to deal with that, right? I want to be free. I'm sure you want to be free as well. Come with me on this journey. It is going to be the most exciting journey you've had in your life, I guarantee it. From theaustralians.com.au, over 1,100 abusers still in Defence Force, report claims. Well, I'll make the point that every single member of the armed forces is an abuser. They abuse people's rights, or they have signed on to abuse people's rights. Well over 1,100 Defence Force members accused of sexual and other abuse are still serving in the Australian military. A task force headed by a veteran judge has revealed they're still serving in the military after they've been accused. They want the psychopaths, like I said. They want people who enjoy hurting others. But I don't enjoy hurting others. I enjoy helping others. That's why I'm doing this. You don't get any better feeling than when you help someone, right? You know how that makes you feel? When you help someone who really needed it, who really could have used your help. It's the best feeling in the world, right? I'm not like these cowardly police who get off on beating up people in handcuffs. I'm not one of these people in the military who gets off on killing others. I'm not one of these politicians who gets off on destroying people's health, destroying people's wealth, destroying people's minds, their hearts and their bodies. I want people to be free. And moving on to what's happening in Ferguson, Missouri right now in the United States, where a young man was shot and killed by police, and there are riots happening there right now. I don't believe that the police should have any authority over any of us. But the thing is, this is being used in the United States to divide and conquer people, to make it black versus white, to make it the citizens versus the police, when the police are on the same side as us. Their kids are still being poisoned by sodium fluoride in the water, by chemtrails. They're having their liberties removed as well. We're all in this together. We're all, to paraphrase that clown Tony Abbott, we're all on team humanity, right? And they want to use this, although these protests are in some way, the main way, about the militarization of police, they're using this as an excuse to escalate that and to militarize the police even further. And I don't support people burning down businesses as a response to someone being killed. That's not cool. I've always said that violence isn't going to help us achieve our ends, because if we would be violent, then the police are going to escalate it, and the military is going to escalate it. And they got all the guns, and they got a lot more firepower than us. And showing how the government is trying to escalate this, make it a race war. Fomenting chaos. Decisions timing triggered Ferguson destruction. Crowd control is always more difficult in the dark. From Infowars.com. Despite a grand jury decision being reached well before nightfall in the controversial Ferguson, Missouri case, the verdict's announcement was withheld until after 8 p.m, all but ensuring that violence and chaos would ensue. You see, they want people to riot. They want them to smash up buildings. They want them to burn cars, because that allows them to escalate it more. And it becomes a distraction from how we're being destroyed by the government. I don't want us to be divided. I want us to come together. All of us. I want all of us to be free. I don't want to have this tyrannical system playing us off against each other. Black against white. Christian against Muslim. We're all humans. We all have that compassion for our fellow humans. Let's use it. Let's use it. And this is what they want to happen over here. From BusinessInsider.com. Suicide blast at Afghan volleyball game kills 50 official. Afghan security forces arrive at the site of another suicide car bomb at the gate of Kabul's Green Village compound, a large fortified complex where many foreigners live. On November 19, 2014, around 50 people were killed and 60 others injured when a suicide blast ripped through crowds gathered to watch a volleyball game in eastern Afghanistan on Sunday, officials said. And this is off the back of the false flag attack that was 9/11. How many years now have they been in Afghanistan? How many hundreds of thousands, how many millions of people have been killed? for false reasons. And when I say this is what they want to happen here, this is what they want. They want a civil war so they can keep everyone impoverished, everyone scared, and they can be the saviours, the government, who come through on their shining white steed and save us all. But it's all smoke and mirrors. They're the ones causing all of this conflict. They're the ones funding it, arming it, implementing it, supporting it, nurturing it. I say no more. I say it's time for us to stand up together. I'm doing my best. And I'm reading more every day. I'm studying more every day. I'm going through the news every day. And there's so much to cover. And there are so many different tactics, so many different rhetorical techniques that I can use to get this message to you. And I'm hoping that I improve every day. I know that I'm improving every day by day, in every way. I'm getting better and better. But I need you to help me. I need you to join me in this fight for freedom. Won't you join me? And this is even in the mainstream news now. Telegraph.co.uk. Syrian Christians, help us to stop arming terrorists. Of course, the United States funding ISIS, ISIL, Al-Qaeda, whatever you want to call them, the Mujahideen, so they can control both sides of a war in an Orwellian, Oceania, Eurasia, East Asia facade, while they have their enemies, which is us, the free people of this world, killing each other. It's time to see through their lies. Furthermore, from naturalnews.com, CPS kidnaps sick infants after doctors injected her with dangerous vaccine against parents' wishes. And when, I've said this a million times, when the police arrest someone for having a piece of vegetable in their pocket, that's assault. When you are threatened with being imprisoned for not paying a tax to the government, which is extortion, that is extortion. When government services kidnap children, that is kidnapping. We need to use these terms correctly. Just because the government does it doesn't magically make it a moral thing to do. The time may be now to hold an official funeral for the death of freedom in the US, as Child Protective Services has reportedly kidnapped yet another young child from her parents. 4-month-old Catherine Blaylock of Lubbock, Texas, is currently being held at UMC Children's Hospital in Lubbock by CPS workers who plucked her from her mother's arms, just days after hospital workers injected the young girl with a hepatitis B vaccine against her family's wishes. As relayed by Terry Lapointe from Health Impact News, young Catherine was born on June 9, 2014 with a rare genetic condition known as Pierre-Robin sequence. This means that she had a very small jaw and a cleft soft palate that makes it difficult for her to eat properly. Catherine also has a skull plate abnormality known as craniostenosis that left her head misshapen due to it closing prematurely during development. Needless to say, Catherine is a special needs child who desperately requires constant touch and care from her mother, who is now only allowed to see the child twice a month at the hospital. The reason for her abduction by CPS, there doesn't seem to be one, but that hasn't stopped the state of Texas, which claims to be a bastion of individual liberty, from continuing to deny Catherine's mother, Laurie, rightful access to her own daughter. I just want her back home in my arms to love and kiss on her, lamented Laurie to Health Impact News, to hold her and never let go. Kidnapping children is an ultimate act of evil by a rogue police state. How succinct is that line? Catherine's story is of the type that likely won't be aired on national cable news, nor printed in any of the major papers, but it is one that is becoming increasingly common all across the US as the country spirals into the worst kind of tyranny, where parents are denied God-given access to their own children, and where the military and police forces turn a blind eye to such tyranny. It is a sickening reality that we continue to see again and again here at Natural News, with one of the more well-known cases being that of Justina Pelletier, the New England girl who was kidnapped by CPS and Boston Children's Hospital over a disagreement about a medical diagnosis. After a full 16 months of confinement in the equivalent of medical prison, Justina was reportedly released after a judge finally declared that the state could no longer hold her hostage. The government shouldn't tell you what medicines you got to give your children and take them out of your hands when you refuse. The government has killed more than 250 million people in the 20th century, non-combatants. That's from a study from the University of Hawaii. You can look that up for yourself. They're already guilty of these genocidal, unspeakable, monumental, I can't even describe how huge these crimes are. They are ineffable. So they don't have any right to tell you what to do, to tell me what to do. That's the point that I'm making. Anarchy. No masters. No rulers. And they continue to poison us. From Chemtrails, North, NZ, WordPress.com. Northland, New Zealand Chemtrails Watch. Weather warfare news. Very high aluminium content in hailstones from devastated fruit-growing region in South Island. On the 4th of November, a severe hailstorm destroyed apple and kiwi fruit crops in the Tasman district of the South Island of New Zealand, causing extensive damage to orchards, destroying both fruit and netting. It was a financial disaster for some of those who were hit in Motueka, Lower Motere and Ruaka, west of Nelson, where hailstones rained down for approximately 20 minutes. One of those living in the area, Ray Foxley of Motueka, had a hunch the hailstorm was weaponized and was used to devastate the orchards deliberately. When asked why he thought this, he replied that there were unnatural-looking cloud formations and aerosol trails apparent that day. Evidence shows, and you can look this evidence up for yourself, that aerosol trails are primarily used for weather engineering purposes and typically comprised of aluminium, barium, and strontium, amongst other toxins and biological components. This man took a video of himself taking a sample of the hail, and he went and got it tested. The hail sample was sent to R.J. Hill Laboratories Limited of Christchurch, a trusted lab which is accredited by International Accreditation New Zealand. Ray asked him to test for aluminium, barium, and strontium, which, as mentioned, our evidence shows the principal component of aerosols. He received the results on November the 24th, and the lab confirmed the presence of all three heavy metals and found that the level of aluminium was particularly high. If you drink tank water, you must take note of these results and share them with your friends, as the concentration of aluminium in Ray's hail sample was 2.5 grams per cubic meter, which is equivalent to 2.5 milligrams per litre. The guideline value for aluminium in the Drinking Water Standards New Zealand 2005, revised 2008, is less than 0.1 gram per cubic meter, which Ray's hail sample exceeds by 25 times. And they're spraying this aluminium all over us. I'm sure you can see the chemtrails in the sky. We're under attack. We're under full spectrum attack. Everywhere you go, everywhere you look, we're being poisoned, manipulated, pushed, squeezed. And I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to go quietly into the night. Rage, rage, rage against the dying of the light. Because that's the type of man I am. I am not going to sit idly by. It doesn't really concern me if people are going to make fun of me, call me a conspiracy theorist. I know what I'm doing is right. And people talking to me privately, telling me that they appreciate what I do. And it's giving them courage to speak to others. That makes me know that I'm making a difference. I think Mother Teresa said, I may not be able to change the world, but I can cast a stone that can create many ripples. And those ripples are being felt all over the world. The freedom movement is growing. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I can feel it. From news.com.au, a woman dies after passing through airport scanner. A woman has died minutes after passing through a security scanner at a Russian airport. Diana Tolstova, 30, was travelling with her husband Maxim, 33, from Baikal International Airport when the scanner caused her pacemaker to malfunction, the Telegraph reported. Every angle, every aspect of our lives, they seek to control. And they control almost all of them now. But their control is expanding. And we're going to reach that tipping point soon, that inflection point. And the world is either going to go to tyranny or it's going to go to freedom. And it's up to you. And it's up to me. The decisions we make are going to decide which way the course of human history goes. So I ask you, what are you doing in this time of great peril? What are you doing in this time of great tyranny? What are you doing in this time of great opportunity? Because we have an opportunity every second that we are alive and breathing to influence the world around us by the decisions that we make. Decisions that we make to be healthy, to train our bodies, to train our minds, to read, to study, to research, to understand what's happening to us, to talk to other people, to spread this message. We have the opportunity right now. Don't ever say that you never had a chance to change the world, because everything you do, every word that comes out of your mouth, every site that you look up on the internet, every book you read or don't read makes a difference. I'm here doing my part, doing my absolute best. And I know that I can do better, which is a bit of a contradiction. I know that I can do more, and I know that I need to do more, but I'm growing. I'm growing stronger every day. And this movement for freedom is growing stronger every day. I know that we will prevail. I know that we will defeat tyranny. And I believe and declare that together we will crush the new world order. Spread this message. Subscribe to this channel. The future is in your hands. The revolution is here. Woo! Yeah.